started Paws Happy Hearts to address two large challenges. On the one hand, we were looking at a growing number of people experiencing social isolation for a variety of reasons. And also on the other hand, there's lots of animals that need extra hands-on time and attention. So we were quite ambitious. What would happen if we brought those two challenges together? Would they be able to support one another and create an impact on both sides simultaneously? We started in Brisbane, Queensland, and over the last 10 years, we've actually expanded to different locations. We're now top to tail in Australia. So before we engaged Relevate, we were hitting a number of bottlenecks. We were actually having trouble kind of tracking the number of referrals coming in, the time it was taking to move our participants through the journey to enroll in programs, and then also what were those outcomes as they kind of journeyed onto their next pathways. So as the CEO and founder at the time, it was hard for me to track that, not just in the location from which I operate in, but as we were expanding into the different locations across the country.
I'm Avon from Relevate. We're a CRM and marketing automation consultancy. We've got about 25 staff. We have offices in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, New Zealand, and India. We've been a Zoho partner for about 7 years now. We take more of an enterprise approach to it, more of a team approach. So rather than just coming in and doing a small thing, we really try to understand the business, spend time working out what challenges they have both now and in the future. And we have a really strong focus on building good foundations. And so we take more of a change management and continuous improvement approach. So we have a dev as a service model where we work with the client on a regular basis. We're constantly taking feature requests into a backlog, and then we meet with the client on a regular basis, weekly, fortnightly, depending. And then we combine ideas, we delete ideas, we expand on ideas, and make the development process much more efficient. So when we first started working with Paws Happy Hearts, they had built the platform in a wrong architecture. So they had tried to do everything on the contact record, which was fine for a small number of records, but after a while it started to cause problems around the number of API limits, workflows, so they're limited to a certain number of workflows, and then there were workflows on top of workflows triggering other workflows, and you had this whole dependency problem. When one thing was changed, it would break 5 other things in the chain. And we realized pretty quickly that we needed to make an aggressive change early on. So in order to solve this, because they were using it live in their business, we went through a whole change management process. We rebuilt the platform in the new architecture in the sandbox that allowed us to get the right data fields, test everything, even train the users on what the future state would look like prior to going live. That meant that we kind of had to rip the Band-Aid off and deal with a massive problem early on, but by doing that, we've now created the opportunity to have better data, to scale the platform more effectively, and to make it future ready. The requirements for Paws Happy Hearts is quite a complex set of stakeholders that they need to deal with. So not only do they have the participants that they're working with, but they also have to track volunteers, trainers, donors, other referral agencies outside of their organization. And then with each of the participants, they need to manage people that have financial responsibility for dealing with these participants, emergency contacts, quite often multiple emergency points of contact, and sometimes they're plan managers when it relates to NDIS. You've got kind of like a B2B selling approach to attracting other donors and or referral groups. You have a recruitment and onboarding process for all of your volunteers and your staff. And then you have a bookings and management of their attendances for the participants that are going through the programs. So in order to do all of that, we need to bring together a number of systems, and we run everything off the backbone, which is the CRM. All of these parts use different parts of the system, and a lot of different apps work together to achieve these functions. So for example, the volunteers use Zoho Creator, as well as CRM and surveys. On the employee side, they use Zoho People, they use Shifts and CRM. And then on the participant side, they're using a lot to do with forms, with CRM, and we're also integrating other third-party applications such as SMS tools. So when onboarding participants, they basically need to go and collect a whole bunch of information, and we worked really hard on that process of getting enrollments into the system, because not only do they have to collect certain amounts of information, they have to have a lot of security around that information. So a lot of things have to happen in a coordinated way at the same time. All of that then has to relate back to billing, and then all of that also has to relate back to other external providers such as NDIS, and they have to have contracts that they supply to these individuals. So that goes through Zoho Sign, and all of these contracts have very specific terms based on the type of activity that they're going through. By using Zoho Blueprint, we're able to create a very structured process that has variables that can deal with the different types of information that you have to collect. So in order to make sure that the information is correct, not only do we have validation rules and checks along the way, we also have code that can clean up little errors that maybe the human eye doesn't pick up. For example, a space in a word. Once we take that information, we extract it and put it into the accounting software, which then sends all the invoices. So not only have we saved significant time in their onboarding process, we now have much more control to understand what phase people are at. We can deal with a much larger number of participants coming through. We can report on the different stages and understand the needs of staffing, volunteers, and sessions that needs to run. The volunteers have a unique process, and so we've built a custom app to manage the onboarding and management of that. So we use Zoho Creator, and we have Creator Portal licenses where volunteers or people who are interested in becoming volunteers fill out a form. They get sent an invite to the portal. Once they log into the portal, we've built a HTML page that has courses that are delivered through Trainer Central. So they complete the Trainer Central course, they get the certificate, they then upload the certificate back into Creator, and then they get prompted to upload their blue card, any kind of insurances, and their availability. Then there's a dashboard that shows how many people have applied versus how many who have completed the training versus how many who have ready to go. And that helps the organization to manage more effectively the number of, or the availability of their volunteers. Once they've done the volunteer side, the employees themselves track and manage the appointments or the sessions through Zoho CRM. Those session times, the employees that are working there, that's managed through Zoho Shifts. Then the employees, their onboarding is different to the volunteer onboarding. So the employees actually do their employee inductions through Zoho People. And in Zoho People, they complete all of their training, but before that, they have to fill out their contracts, their employment contracts, which is done through Zoho Sign. In order to market effectively, they take a lot of video and imagery, and the way they spread the message of what they do is through using Zoho Social and through email using marketing automation. And when they're on the website, in order to improve how they navigate the website, they're using PageSense to heat map and see the customer journey, what they click on, what they view. And as they go through the website, they're clicking onto Zoho Forms, fill out the information, and then that's feeding back into marketing automation to collect more email addresses and more information. So another way to improve the responses and improve their marketing from their existing audience is to send out surveys using Zoho Survey, where they can collect what the sentiment is from the customer, where they first found out about Paws Happy Hearts, and use that data to really target their advertising and their marketing on the correct channels. In the future, we'll be going to look at Zoho Commerce to build out our e-commerce side, sell things like t-shirts, merchandise, and then potentially in future be looking into Zoho communities, engagement communities, So that will help to talk to their audience in a more interactive way and have them engage with each other. This will help with the retention of the customer, and then can also feed into other things such as Sales IQ on their website, where they can then proactively engage with people as soon as they land on the website, and even see things like where they're engaging from.
So KPIs are absolutely important to social businesses as well. And what we're really able to do with Zoho One is make sure that, as per our plans, we're reaching the intended number of socially isolated participants that we say that we're going to reach, and that we're actually tracking how they are transitioning through programs. We want to make sure that our organisation is having a really deep impact for the participants with which we work. And if we don't track and measure that progress, then we can't be sure that we're actually delivering on our intended outcomes.